I told President Trump that in our meeting, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said he is committed to denuclearization, and he expressed his eagerness to meet President Trump as soon as possible. President Trump appreciated the briefing and said he would meet Kim Jong-un by May.
If President Trump and Kim Jong-un meet, it would be an extraordinary moment in North Korean-U.S. relations. It's a surprising turn of events considering the recently traded insults between Trump and Kim. Trump has repeatedly called Kim Little Rocket Man, and Kim has called the president a dotard and lunatic. The invitation came just after a year in which North Korea fired intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of reaching all of the United States, and tested what is widely thought to have been a hydrogen bomb. If Trump and Kim meet, it would be the first contact between sitting leaders of the two countries. The announcement included a pledge from North Korea to stop nuclear and missile testing. Left unaddressed so far are the fates of 3 Americans detained in North Korea. A meeting planned for April in Pyongyang between South Korea's President Moon Jae-in and Kim Jong-un was announced just days ago after the same South Korean delegation returned from North Korea. There have been past efforts at diplomacy, of course, which held initial promise but eventually failed. In June of 2000, South Korea's Kim Da-jung met the reclusive Kim Jong-il in Pyongyang, the first time since the peninsula was split that leaders from the North and South had met. The outcome of the talks included family reunions for those separated by the DMZ. Kim returned to Seoul a hero, eventually winning the Nobel Peace Prize in part for the trip. But 3 years later, members of Kim's government were convicted of illegally transferring up to $200 million to North Korea in what was dubbed the Cash for Summit scandal. 4 months after Kim's historic trip, Secretary of State Madeleine Albright traveled to Pyongyang to lay the groundwork for a future trip by President Bill Clinton. For 6 years, the two countries had been operating under the 1994 agreed framework. The U.S. would help the North develop civilian nuclear power plants, and in exchange, Pyongyang would abandon its covert nuclear weapons program. But the Clinton administration's approach was rejected by the incoming Bush administration. The U.S. discovered that North Korea cheated on the agreed framework, secretly enriching uranium and conducting meetings with Pakistani nuclear scientists. Along with this revelation and the start of the global war on terrorism, after the attacks of 9/11, the Bush White House felt there was little room for concessions.
States like these and their terrorist allies constitute an axis of evil.
The second North-South meeting occurred in 2007, with President Roh Moo-hyun traveling to Pyongyang, even though Kim Jong-il had carried out his first nuclear test a year earlier. Critics said the trip was merely a ploy by Roh to gain political points during an election year. Even with these recent developments, the path to peace may not be clear-cut. On March 7th, an editorial in the state-run Nodong Shinmun, headlined "End Should Be Put to U.S. History of Nuclear Crimes," suggested the U.S. should also denuclearize. A bargaining position that has little prospect of success if it is indeed part of any potential strategy out of Pyongyang.